We are going to start on page 7. This is our 4th video. If you are using the e-text, make sure you click next 2 times. At the top, it will say, how did farming change human culture? You will be on page 31 in your textbook. If you are in the e-text, we scroll down and you're actually going to want to start where how did farming change social organization? Notice there is quite a bit of highlighting here. There are 4 questions right here. So we are going to go ahead and get started. This first question, which will be in this green highlighted paragraph, how did government take shape in Neolithic villages? So look for that answer while it's being read to you.
How did farming change social organization? Early farming communities remained small. Like hunting, farming required close cooperation among members of the community. Heads of families consulted to make important decisions. They might discuss when to plant and harvest crops, what to do with food surpluses, or how to protect the community from outside dangers.
All right, the question is, how did government take shape in Neolithic villages? So when we're talking about government, we're talking about the people who are keeping people safe, making the rules, enforcing the rules, that kind of thing. So what is happening as these farming communities are organizing? Who is taking charge? Go ahead and get that answer for number 6 and then come on back. Number 7 will be in this pink highlighted paragraph. What do some scientists infer about the social structure of the Neolithic villages from the evidence that all homes were the same size? So in this pink paragraph, you'll find that answer.
Archaeologists have uncovered the remains of several Neolithic villages, such as Skara Brae in Scotland. In these villages, all homes were more or less the same size. Some historians believe this means that great differences in social standing did not yet exist.
All right, let's talk about social standings. So if I were to walk into the classroom and Taylor Swift were to walk into the classroom, who has a higher social standing? Myself or Taylor Swift? Obviously Taylor Swift. If I were to walk into the classroom and Mr. Baker were to walk into the classroom, who would have a higher social standing? Mr. Baker. So social standing means more important. Who you see as more important, who you see has more power, sometimes more money. What they are saying here, some historians believe since all of these homes were the same size, what does that say to you about how they were socially? So another example, I have just a normal house. It's not a mansion, not anything big, but Taylor Swift obviously owns numerous homes. I'm going to say hundreds, but her homes are millions of dollars. So because her home is so much bigger than mine and she owns more homes, obviously her social standing would be higher. So think of it that way. The bigger the home, the higher the social standing. So number 7, what do some scientists infer about the social structure of Neolithic villages from the evidence that all homes were the same size? If all their homes were the same size, how do you think their social standing was? Were they all the same? Did they have a social hierarchy? Were some people more important than others? What do you think? Get that answer now for number 7. Let's move on to page 8. Number 8 will be in your blue highlighted text. What types of useful objects did early farmers fill their homes with? So let's listen for that.
Still having a permanent place to live meant that people could own more possessions. Early farmers filled their homes with furniture, tools, clay pots, and other goods. These items would have been too heavy to move from one campsite to another. Over time, some families accumulated more food and possessions than others. Food surplus sometimes led to conflict, however, as some groups wanted to expand their supplies at the expense of others. Some people hired guards to protect their wealth.
All right, what types of useful objects did early farmers fill their homes with? You will find some different kinds of objects right here in this blue paragraph. Go ahead and get those now. Number 9, How did permanent settlements lead to social differences in the Neolithic era? Let's go ahead and listen.
As surpluses increased and people began to specialize, greater social differences emerged. As evidence of this inequality, scientists have unearthed graves with jewelry and other fine materials, while other graves have none of these things.
Number 9, how did permanent settlements lead to social differences in the Neolithic era? Right here, you will find in this green paragraph the answer. So let me just talk about this. When you have a permanent settlement, you have a house, you don't have to move, you can collect more stuff. This stuff then becomes a social standing, because if I have this really cool couch and my neighbor comes over and sees this really cool couch that they wish they had, they'd be like, oh, I really want that couch. So that makes me look cooler. My social standing just went up. So that is why, as people started to accumulate this stuff that other people might want and not be able to get, it shows that it starts to lead to inequality, because some people had more stuff than other people. And it's that stuff, even sometimes today, a person who has 5 cars obviously is higher standard, higher socially than the person who only has 1 car. So sometimes the accumulation of stuff makes them more important and higher on that social standing. So number 9, how did permanent settlements, now that they can settle and they can collect all this stuff, lead to social differences in the Neolithic era? So how does owning all this stuff start to lead to differences now that these people can have all this cool stuff? Go ahead and get that answer now.